Hello everyone, my name is Nasser Gorsi, and in today's video I'll be talking about verbs. I divided the verb topic in 6 questions or 6 topics today. So that is, what is a verb? Why do we need a verb? How do we use a verb in a sentence? What are 5 common forms of verbs? What are regular verbs and irregular verbs? And of course, what are auxiliary verbs? So let's start with the what is a verb. Verbs are the words that refer to an action, event or state, situation of a subject. Verbs are the main part of a sentence or phrase. Without a verb, you can't make a sentence. You definitely need a verb in almost all the languages. Otherwise, with the verb you can complete an answer but not the whole sentence. We also call them action words because they have an action in them. For example, I do it, I clean. So the action is do or clean. In a layman's language, layman's means a common man's language, we can say that those words that have action in them are called verbs. Now I'll be showing you some pictures so you can have an idea what is a verb. If you see, this is an action, a girl is running or run. Run is the base form, running is the progressive form with ing. Écrire in French means write or writing. Walk or walking. Sing or singing. So we will be doing some more examples, but before we jump here, these are the main verbs. They are not helping verbs. The main verbs are also called lexical verbs. Think, cook, eat, manger in French, live, живу in Russian, see, hear, слушаю in Russian, dance, drive, smile, study. Of course, I don't like to study. So these are just some 10 examples of main verbs. We also call them lexical verbs. Now the question arises like, why do we need verbs? Why? I mean, why the hell are we talking about verbs? Why do we need to learn them properly? We need verbs because without a verb, a sentence is almost spineless. So they are a very important part of our vocabulary. We would not be able to create and use sentences without verbs because there's always at least one verb in every sentence. Verbs tell us the subject. Verbs tell us what the subject of a sentence is doing. For example, he works hard. What does he do? He works hard. He cooks every day. What does he do? He cooks every day. So they are the actions the person is doing. So that's how we know, because we use the verbs. If you change a verb, the whole meaning will change. The action will change. I'll do it later. So for now, they are conjugated according to the person, gender, tense, or the voice. Voice means you change the voice, like passive voice or active voice. So then again, we have some sentences with verbs and how you use them. Let's say I say, I think English is a wonderful language. I think English is a wonderful language. But if I say I believe English is a wonderful language, I'm changing the whole meaning. If I say I opine, I strongly feel, I don't believe, or I can change a verb. If I change a verb, the meaning changes. We eat eggs every day. We eat eggs every day. If I say we buy eggs every day, so the meaning changes. If I say we sell eggs every day, if we throw eggs every day, by using a different verb, we change the whole meaning. He loves chocolates. I don't love chocolates. Let's say he loves chocolates. If I use we, I'll be using the verb love because it conjugates with he and we differently. He loves chocolates. He hates chocolates. He eats chocolates. So again, the sentence and the meaning changes with if you change a verb. She lives here. She lives here. If you use live with I live here because I will have a different form of live or verb in present simple tense. I drive to my office. I pedal to my office. I hitchhike to my office. I go to my office. If you change a verb, you change the sentence and the meaning. Now let's see, how do we use verb in a sentence? So here we'll be looking at a structure, subject, verb, and then the object. That this is the common sentence structure in English language. In French, in Hindi, in Russian, in Mandarin, we have different structures, not like this. So we have a subject in the beginning, we have a verb, then we have an object. In the first sentence we say he likes chocolates. He is a subject, pronoun, subjective pronoun we call it. Verb is likes and the chocolates is the object. She eats pizzas. She is again a subject. Verb is eats, means manger in French. Pizzas is pizzas, Italian pizzas. Same in all the languages. The students enjoy the show. So in all these three sentences, we see we have a subject in the beginning, then we have the main verb, lexical verb, and an object at the end. Now we are going to study 5 types of verbs used in a sentence. First of all, I would want to make it clear in different parts of the world we call verbs differently. For example, in Indian context we call that first form of verb, second form of verb, third form of verb, but that's not the case with English. In English we call that a base form or present participle. Then we have past participle, which we call not past participle, we call that past tense participle because that is the second form of the verb. Then we have the past participle, third form, which we call in Indian context, of course, because that's how we don't have the confusion. If you say a past tense verb or the past participle, somebody, I would say most of the people would get confused because that's not how we have been taught here. So let's jump further. Here I've given you 4 examples. Easy, verb 1, do. Next form is did. Third is done. When you add ing, we call that progressive form, and it becomes doing. And then if you have to add es, s or ies, it becomes does. In almost all the verbs we must use s, es or ies as per the subject, and this is called subject verb agreement. I'll be taking this topic in some other video. Next is eat. The second form, or you could say the past tense form is ate, eaten, eating, and then eats. Bury, the word is bury, not bury or bury. It's bury means to dig something and put somebody inside the ground and just put it there. You bury a grave, you bury somebody, you bury people after the death. You bury, buried, burying, or buries. Stop, stopped, stopping, stops. In these 4 different types of verbs you've seen, some verbs have just used ed after them and some have not. Some can be guessed, some cannot be. And some verbs have used ing, some have used ses or ies at the end. It's because of it all depends on the tenses, the gender of the person or the subject. How many subjects are we talking about? So in the next slide we have a little classification of the verbs. When I say classification of verbs, I mean here regular verbs and irregular verbs. If I have to say about regular verbs, I would say which can be guessed easily. For example, regular verbs, they can be conjugated by just adding ed after them. If I have to use a past tense of some verb, I'll just use ed suffix at the end of a verb and I have the verb. For example, watch, watched, washed. Love, loved, loved. Help, helped, helped. Accept, accepted, and accepted. I don't have to look at some other in details like how do we make the past participle or the past tense of this verb. I just have to use ed after them and I have them. Also, for example, push, pushed, pushed, use, used, used. But that's not the case with all the verbs. It's only with the regular verbs because you can easily add ed and you can easily guess them. Now we'll have irregular verbs. What are irregular verbs? Their conjugation follows a different pattern, not a predictable like the regular ones. So if I say a pattern, it's different. You have to learn them. You have to memorize them by heart. Some examples are like do, did, done. There is no logic how did becomes done or how do becomes did. Go, went, gone. Drink, drank, drunk. See, saw, seen. Write, wrote, written. Bring, brought, brought. Beat, beat, beaten. Bite, bit, bitten. Break, broke, broken. Did you guys find any logic? Me neither. There is no logic. Some people use hurt, hurted, hurted. No, it's hurt, hurt, hurt. I don't know the logic. Neither do you. Or let's. So we have to. The point is, that's how they exist. So we have to just memorize them. So the question is, how do you know if a verb is regular or irregular? Well, there is no logic. I can repeat. You have to read, 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 read. Yes. No, the form is read, 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 but you have to read second time and third time. You must read so that you have an idea. Well, I think that's enough. Now we'll be talking about auxiliary verbs. What are auxiliary verbs? Auxiliary verbs are also called helping verbs because they help the main verb to form a sentence or to communicate to the direction of a sentence or the possibility, things like that, or the present form or the past form, or they also change according to the gender and the plurality of the subject. These are just 6 examples: be, will, shall, may, can, have, is, am, are, could, like these. So I have 5 examples here. I'll try my best to communicate it. He will come today. He will come today. Will is helping the verb come to communicate you guys about the future. If I say he is coming today, it has a different meaning. If I say he can come today, it completely changes the meaning because it shows the tendency of that person that he can come today. If I say he might come today, it will change the whole thing because it means there are slight chances that he might come. There's a possibility, but I'm not sure. Second sentence says she can eat a lot. Glutton is a word for the person who eats a lot, and the concept is called gluttony. He's cleaned the house, or you can say he has cleaned the house. He's cleaned the house. Has, we have used has because the subject is he, not somebody else. In the previous videos I have taught about how do we use different nouns and how do we conjugate, so please see that. So when I say he has cleaned the house, the word has, auxiliary verb, is helping the main verb cleaned, and we have to use the third form of the verb. I shall see you again. I'm waiting for my friend. Here you can see the auxiliary verbs. They're helping the windows. I've done it. I've clarified it before. So in today's video, we did what is a verb, why do we need a verb, how do we use it in a sentence, what are the common forms of verbs, what are irregular and regular verbs, and what are the auxiliary verbs. And for my online courses, because I receive many calls and emails from some students, or I would say language learners, I teach basic grammar to intermediate and then advanced level, voice and accent, where I teach pronunciation, how do we use tone, dive, pitch, like this, and advanced writing skills, and of course the English speaking courses. If you have any query, or you want to study online classes, or one-to-one or in person or in group, you guys can contact me on my email and the mobile phone number. Till then, I take a leave. We call it sayonara in Japanese. Have a good day. Bye bye.